I made this game with love2d in 24 hours, and this is how and why I did it. So why love2d? There are so many languages, frameworks, engines to use, and there's so many comparisons on which one's the best, which one you should use to do A, B, and C. And why did I choose love2d? Well, basically it's really just a name. It's called love2d, and we use Lua to write the code in, and Lua means moon in Portuguese. Sounds very cool to me, and that's really it. When I see that it's quite straightforward to start, I mean, I think it is after using it, and yeah, not much out there that's easy because any engine framework you use, it's gonna be difficult in the start, but for me it makes sense. So that's how I continued with love2d, and found out that things like the Unity, which are kind of like the most popular quote-unquote game engines out there, that people are like saying, oh, you must use this, you must use that, and you can make like bigger, better games. And I don't really like to use the UI to do things, and it stresses me out, and I am terribly slower if you ask me to move a ball from left to right and making it at the correct positions. I just cannot do it. And yeah, and if my focus is like a flame, it is already a living flame, so if there's like a lengthy startup, the flame's gonna die, and I gotta find a catalyst to rekindle the flame and make it brighter. And so basically, I just wanna do a thing, and if that thing I wanna do, I don't like it, I'm not gonna continue. I'm just gonna find myself struggling, just dreading, and if I kind of like sort of like enjoy it, okay, I can build momentum and make it bigger and bigger. So yeah, and after deciding on what framework language I want to use, I decided to go and look at tutorials and follow some native foundation, get myself introduced on what love2d can do, cannot do, the capabilities, how things work, the functionalities and libraries, how to even start the game, how to test it, is it easy, how to when I do this, which scene, and blah blah blah. I'm not sure what I'm saying because I don't know the jargon, and I'm scrambling at this point. And I found that video tutorials are always nice. It's a visual thing for me, and on YouTube there are like so many different channels and different people, very knowledgeable. We have like different teaching styles. Some are like hours long, even like 10-hour long YouTube videos from start to finish. Like how do you place this button, to how do you add music, and blah blah blah. 10 hours, I'm not gonna do that. Maybe you want to, that's a thing. Or there kind of like videos where they just talk about one single component, like oh, how do you make the HUD, how do you make your player walk up and down, left and right. So just focusing on a single component of half that you need. And I find that if the tutorial is only good if you actually understand it afterwards. So after watching the video, are you able to do the thing that they said without looking at it again? And can you build upon the tutorial, like enhance it, make it better? And if not, then maybe it's not really a good tutorial for you. I don't know, that's just me. And don't be swayed by people's like recommendation, opinions, or because everyone uses it, I must use it, it must be good, I'm a first time use it, why do I not get it? It's okay, because like on YouTube there are like so many different videos, different channels. This is just an example of love2d. love2d doesn't really have the most, I must say, but I feel that it's enough to get me started. And then look at the documentations as well. Lots of resources everywhere. Just choose around and browse, because the good thing about learning nowadays things so accessible is you don't really necessarily have to buy like paid subscriptions and things like that. There are like free alternatives and things that you can like try. If you don't like it, go to the next. There's no harm in trying this. I mean, yeah, maybe you waste a bit of time, but I feel that during the process you would learn something about it, and you know if you want that once you continue using this or not. Don't really have to do much of a comparison. Oh my gosh, man, look at researching on the forum. Oh my gosh, should I use love2d? Should I use a Pi game? Should I just go? Should I go Unreal Engine? And find answers, because people are gonna give you many different opinions. And you can use the time to just download the software and just try it out yourself. It's a trial. It's okay. And next up is ideating. What should I make? There are so many questions on my mind. Oh my gosh. I can make a platformer, I can make a top-down RPG. There are so many things I want to make, and then one idea comes up and it kind of spitballs into one big giant avalanche, and I end up just not doing it because I find it so overwhelming and I don't know where to start. And I must know that at the end of the day, I am a beginner and I am here to learn, and I decided to give myself like some criteria on how I move forward and not get myself stuck on this stage and spend as little as time to do this, because I'm really just thinking I don't know what I'm doing. It really doesn't matter. I just want to learn how to make a game and how things work. First off, I feel that the game must be short enough, perhaps like a minute or two at most of gameplay, so that I know and I can test it from start to end. It's a good timeline for me to see if I like it, like this project. Writing in this language, using this framework, this engine, and getting that like in gratification, something like that. It's a goalpost. Today I create a 1-minute game, then the next day maybe I can create a 5-minute game and an hour game. That's kind of my logic here. And yeah, just try it out. Like I said, if you like this language, continue to make another game on it. If not, try another language, another engine, another framework. Really, this really helped me a lot there. And going to the next point is a great way to start making things within scoping things now, is to find your favorite games and just make one component out of it. So perhaps you could be like Pokemon, Cloud Penguin, Super Mario. It's a very big game. There are many levels, storylines, mechanics, things you can do, endless. And if you make this from scratch, it's gonna take you hours, days, months, years. I mean, Pokemon, it takes them, I don't know, like a couple years to complete a game, and you can do it in a day, you can do it in a month. I mean, you can, maybe you can, not sure, I'm not at that level yet. So perhaps in the Pokemon game, you can make like the muffin making mechanic. In Cloud Penguin, you could just maybe do the ice fishing game, mini games are always good. And for Super Mario, it's a platformer. I guess just one level from start to finish, simple level, getting yourself more familiar with making maps, using tiles, generating tile sets, and blah blah blah. So it's still possible to do and to create a game that you like, or you like to play. Flash games are always good as well, retro titles, the classics. Then it's like you don't have to think about how to make this game fun. That's the controls work. Because once you start thinking about these things, at least for me, I kind of go, I can make this, then I can make that. Oh, I should add this portion, I should add like different storylines, and if the player chooses like option B, then the story will continue that way, and if you choose A, it'd be like that the other way, and there'll be like point systems, and you collect stuff, and like it's I'm not gonna go anywhere if I mean it's good to brainstorm, but it's important in making it a manageable piece of work that you can complete and not feel overwhelmed. And also, I just think of what I need in this year. Um, so, I let myself play the game. Play the game, have fun and enjoy it, and this time around I pay attention to the mechanics. Think about things like what are the controls you need. So do I use like buttons, any buttons, right up, down, A, B, then how do you progress in the game? Do you go around and then collect mushrooms, collect coins? How do you win a game? So like in Mario Kart, usually there's 3 laps and there's the final lap, and you cross like the finish line and you win and lose and you get your replacing blah blah. So these are the main things that I think of. Then going on to making the assets. So there are a lot of assets if you think about it to make a game, and it can get like overwhelming again. Overwhelming is the word. To draw a thing off, we can go to like each like 3 things that you can download. Like remember to check the license, or you can draw your own. To be honest, I took a lot of time, almost 20% of the time I used to create Burger Extreme was to design and make the assets, because I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to really draw well, clean designs in the style that I want to show. Pixel style, and in a way, the player is like a director. They kind of direct the movements. Player goes player presses the left button. Player goes left. Player might press the A button, and the character might swing a sword. And if the player this isn't everything must be animated. So in a way, you need to make sure everything is animated, and that is why the titles there are so many frames. And finally, we can go to the coding part, which is the bulk of the whole project. And with any project, sometimes you might have to go back to the design part, gathering requirements. It's a life cycle, but I think when people think of like coding, developing, making games, they think of the coding part, because that's what people spend the most time. I don't know why I spend so much time saying these things. We just step on station, we used to make sure that we are well organized. We have our fonts, we have our libraries from the third-party sources that we use. If you have music, put it in audio, sprites for your assets, your PNGs, and then you decide like what you want to code first. And for me, with the order of importance, thinking of which controls do the player use the most. Is it the left key, is it the right key, is it the button, the mouse click, which one is the most used? Then that part I do first, then into the ones that the player uses the least. And then it's like the components wise, I like to write the front end of the code, which is displaying and drawing on the screen, so the player can see visually, and then do the back end to connect everything component by component, so that I can test them individually. It's easier to make sure things all work in the unit. Yeah, and I find it easier to test. Okay, I wanna put the number 6 item on my station, on my burger. How do I do it, I decided to go with a space bar and to kind of say, okay, I want to put this ingredient on. And obviously in a burger there are more than one ingredient. So yeah, I need to know how do I draw the burger on. Usually when people make burgers, they start with like the bottom bun, then some vegetables, some meat, cheese, blah blah sauces, then top half of the bun. So different layers. First layer is the bun, then let's say they put a tomato in. So this is a sequence, and I decided to do a queue data structure because it's first in, first out. So the first item that went in, the first item goes up and down. So with every spacebar that is pressed, I take note of the selected ingredient. It's called I, and I'm turn I into the queue, and at the point of drawing all the layers on, I have that queue, I can just iterate it with a for loop and draw the layers as accordingly. And then it's to do some randomization with the right side of my screen, which is the orders. We could have all the orders like written down, coded. That would be very fun for the player because it's always going to be the same order and it gets boring. It's the same, right? So I do a random thing. So sometimes the burger would have only 3 ingredients, and sometimes the burger would only have like 1 ingredient, 6 ingredients, 8 ingredients. So I do a random 1 to 10, get a number, and there are 6 ingredients that player can use. I do a for loop on the range of n and an empty array to store the ingredients appended. Every iteration I do random to get the ingredients that the player will choose, then sign it and draw like with the previous with the display thing. And next up is to send the burger to the customer with the enter button. So at this point of time, we have 2 sequences, arrays, what do you want to call. In Lua, it's just called a table. One is created by the player, and another is just totally generated from my system. And when the player presses the enter button, we compare the 2 sequences from index 0 to index 1. And if the sequences do not match, the player don't get a point, you don't get a point. And now if every single ingredient matches, they have the same size of ingredients, the player gains points, and kind of like a way to make it a little bit varied. I do the number of points you can get is just based on the order size. So if the order is 10 ingredients, you get more points. If it's just 1 ingredient, you get less point because of that. And it could be like, you can do like time to spend in trial. If you spend 5 seconds, you get more points. If the player spends 10 seconds, you get less points. And blah blah like that. So at this point, the game is kind of basically complete because you have the player can move the ingredients, put it on the board, on the paper, make the burger, see if the burger is correct, get the points. But why is it like not a game? There's something missing. What is the secret? And I think it's because there is no interaction. So it doesn't make it pop because it's just there's no sound, you just press the buttons. It's like a PowerPoint presentation without anything. I just press buttons and the thing moves. So I think to make it actually a game is to have the player have some sort of sense of urgency. So perhaps doing it, giving them a 5-minute limit, 60 seconds on the clock, how many burgers can you make in 60 seconds? And perhaps in this round I made 7 burgers. Like, can I win? Can I beat my score of 7 the next time I play? Things like that, so the player can challenge themselves. Then we have the background music, very important. To really immerse I can't speak. Immerse yourself in the gameplay. I'm a big Halo fan. I really enjoy the music that they put, and I really I really enjoy the music. Like especially in the Elite Four, they have different themes, and you can feel the rush, you can feel the intensity. If your Pokemon is like at the red zone, and the music kind of changes, and it's like, oh gosh, Pokemon's gonna faint. And then when like Cynthia like pops out with her Garchomp, and things get crazy, stuff like that, and also the sound effects, battle screen. So that was, okay, what do little animation done, settings menu, settings buttons, menus. Because sometimes players might not really like, might not be in the place where they could blast the audio loudly. They might find the music a bit too loud, a bit too soft, and for them to have a better experience, it's good for them to always adjust the volume and things like that. For me, I just have a button. So for the minimal style, and also enhanced functionality. For me, I have a clear button for C, so that if the player messes up, they can just press C to start over again. And then at the end, they can export the game. We can export the game. And I feel that once I put it on there, it really feels like I did something there. Yeah. And it's like, I don't know, share with others, share with friends, and talk about it, geek out a bit, and just fire it. I find myself playing this game, like, just randomly because it's actually a game I really like and I'm proud of it. So, yeah, it's a game. I made a game. Yay! What game did you make?